Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
Long time no see.
I know. It's been a whole 3 days.
It's been 3 days. It really
It's
has
been
been.
like
And it'll
3
be another
days.
3 weeks, and then I'll see you again. And the 3
That
weeks
is
after
true.
that, I'll see you again. And then I won't see you again
is
probably
also-
till like December. So
I mean, maybe before that.
who knows? Who knows? But welcome to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. I am Dave, and this is Jen, and we are here, episode number 201. I just made note of the fact that typically I have to look sometimes to see what episode we're on. Are we on 187 or 154?
I had no
or
idea.
192?
Yeah.
This one, I had down pat. Episode 200 last week
Good
with
job.
Derek, and the Moana Mom had a great time doing the attractions. By the way,
She did.
we had a listener email. It said basically, can you post the attraction bracket so that I can fight it out with my
really?
family? So I'm going to have that on the website on our show notes, the mscpodcast.com. That'll be
that's
up
a
when this
great
episode
idea.
airs. I'll put that up, and you guys can see it. And all props to Mr. Derek Frank, who
Thank you,
was
Mr.
able to
Derek
put that together for us.
Frank.
So absolutely, Jen. We got a lot to talk about today. We just got
We
back from
do.
a Royal Caribbean cruise, Freedom of the Seas.
Good. Yes.
Yes, a lot of happening in the world of Disney as well. But I got to ask you, Jen, how did you Disney this week?
Well, I made some plans to go down for. I was invited to a preview of Tiana's River by what do you call it?
Yeah, The Princess
Tiana's
and the Log. Yes.
the princess.
Yes.
That's what you keep calling it. Tiana's Bayou,
Bayou
Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Correct.
So I am very excited for that.
Correct. And we know where it's located. It's over Bayou. And so,
Oh,
it is, of course,
Joe.
the Magic Kingdom over in Frontierland. We are all excited for that. Now, I'm not going to ask you when those dates are or anything because I don't know how much people are supposed to know yet. I'm sure it'll be out and about pretty soon. The pass holder
Yeah.
previews are coming out and whatever. But
I mean, I don't think it's
we-
not that much of a,
yes, but we know
surprise.
it's coming very, very soon.
It
and it's going to be
is.
awesome, which means when this episode drops, about 3 hours later, there will be an announcement of the actual date itself.
Probably
of when it
that
opens,
will
so-
probably be a thing.
My guess is June 24th. It's a Monday. That is my guess of when it officially will be open. We do know that Disney likes to do several weeks of cast member previews,
That
and
is true.
pass holder previews, and certain
Mhm.
special people previews and such. So that will be happening. So yeah, that's exciting. Making your travel plans for that.
Yeah.
I have a habit about once every 2 weeks going to the local thrift store because I am a physical media person. I like perusing their
Mm.
CDs. I like perusing their DVDs and their Blu-rays, and they're usually $1 each. Today I had the privilege of picking up the Pretty in Pink soundtrack. I also had the
Oh,
privilege of picking up the
yay.
Felicity soundtrack. If you remember that show with
Oh
Carrie
my
Russell,
gosh,
I
that's
found
been
that
a
soundtrack.
minute.
And the Jerry Maguire soundtrack, all pristine condition, all $1 each. And I found Tangled on Blu-ray and DVD for $1.
Oh my
Brand,
gosh.
it hasn't been unwrapped yet. It's brand new. Picked it up for $1. And one movie, and I actually already own Tangled. I own the 3D DVD, blue, the whole set. But I'm like, and now I have a backup copy for $1. And then I found one movie that I have been looking for forever. I've been meaning to purchase it, but I don't want to spend the $20 on it, hoping I can find it. Captain America: Civil War, one of my
Oh,
favorite
you love
MCU
that one.
films, for $1. I was like, victory is mine, which was really awesome. So yeah, that's exciting. Now, I do want to mention this. We have a lot of things coming. May 20th, of course, is we didn't really get to this last week, but the big announcement a couple of days ago on May 20th, Disney is changing their DAS Pass. Now, this is very convenient.
Yes.
Because 2 weeks ago we did an episode on DAS Pass strategy, and now they're going to change everything, right? So please
Yeah.
listen to that episode, and everything works until then. And I'm not going to dive too much into it because there is a post that I put up on my own page, Disney on $1 on Facebook, that has blown up, and people are having all sorts of discussions. And
Yes.
for the most part, I would say about 92.7% of them have been very nice and very pleasant, very good conversation. Whatever the percentage is left, about
Yeah, you have
6.3%, not so much. I've had to kind of chunk some people here and there, get rid of some people, and not people, but comments. I'm not blocking anybody, but comments. And people have been so far pretty entertaining when it comes to their stories, and they're pleased to Disney. Hey, don't change this, don't change that. Just know something, and I wanted to make this proclamation. When things like this come up, one thing you have to remember is you have to be very careful who you listen to.
Yes.
There are several websites out there that make these horrible claims in their headlines that say Disney is doing this and it's closing in infinitely, or Disney is shutting out all the guests, blah, 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 whatever. And you read the article and you're like, oh, they're really not closing this down forever. It's a refurbishment for 5 days. or they're not blocking
Right.
guests from entering Hollywood studios. This is a after hours party that you have to purchase tickets for. And if you don't purchase tickets for it, you have to leave. I mean, this is the kind of
Yeah,
headlines that several sites
exactly.
do. If it's not from Disney officially,
Mhm.
then it does not count. It's not real.
Correct.
We don't know for sure. Maybe it's strong. Even some of the websites that I trust, I'm still like, if I don't hear from Disney officially, I'm still like,
Yep.
there's a chance,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Just note that Upon a Star Travel will never post anything that we don't believe to be true, or if it's a rumor, we will say rumor. This is whatever,
Mhm.
just for a discussion.
And even then,
Mm.
we're only posting if it is relevant to something that
Yes,
needs to be out
correct.
there. We're not just posting it
Correct.
because it's like, oh, we want to post a rumor. It would be like,
Correct. And same thing on my page. I will never post anything that I don't either know to be true or that I don't
right.
specifically say, just for conversation. Hey, this is a rumor going around. What do you guys think? Big letters, rumor, just to make sure. It's something like the
Mhm.
Dash Pass. Make sure you pay attention to who you're listening to
Yes.
because it can get you all fired up, and there's so much chance for misinformation inside the magic, and
Yeah.
so many chances. So many pages out there will throw out misinformation Disney dining, and a lot of pages Disney Fanatic will do those things just to get clickbait. And so I'm not going to say any names at all, except for those once proud pages where you had the magic, you would go inside of it,
Yeah.
and great pages, but now just whatever clickbait. Anyway, just pay attention to what you're
Pay
what you're listening
attention.
to. So,
Yes, exactly.
you'll be hearing much more about the Dash Pass coming up once I get a
Mhm.
handle on it. But until then, we don't know anything until Disney releases it. They're going to change up the system. One big thing they have said is simply that no more in park, like we do it in the park. We do it as soon as we get to the park. They'll be
Right.
all done
That's not going to
online
be
now, and they have said they're going to be working with a place called the National Health Organization, Health Alliance,
NH.
something
Yeah,
like
something
that,
like that.
to
Mhm.
work with cast members in doing online interviews. Does that mean they give the decision to the Health Alliance? Does that mean the Health Alliance advises the cast members? We
W-
don't know.
We don't know.
We don't
And
know.
we
You
do know
know.
it is not reportedly the same system that Universal uses.
Yes. Yes.
We can
Which
say that.
Yes, a few weeks ago we had Main Street Sarah on here talking about that, and I've heard some great things about Universal System. She had a very negative experience with it. We'll see. It's not going to that, so we know
Yeah.
that for a fact. But just wanted to mention that and bring that up for people who are worried about the DAS Pass. We just don't know anything, and there's a
And
chance for
and I
most
do
people nothing will change. Who
and I
knows?
do think that like for those people who get the DAS pass, the main thing with the episode that we did a couple weeks ago that's going to
Hmm.
change is getting the DAS pass. It's not
Yes,
going to be like the strategies once you have it, I
right.
think will be largely the
Yes.
same. So,
Absolutely. Well, and that brings up the other thing that I wanted to mention. That the one change again, Disney has mentioned this. They have said this is what they're doing, so it's
mhm.
not a rumor. That instead of just doing a party of 6, um, if your immediate family is 4, 5, 6, whatever, it's your immediate family
Yeah.
up to 6 people. If it's not immediate family, and we don't
Mhm.
know the definition of immediate, are grandparents included? Are aunts and uncles included? We don't know.
Don't know.
Disney will say that. We'll see. But it's now going to be a party of 4. And
Yes, we do
personally,
know this.
they have not said this, but I personally think that is to stop influencers and people like that from not saying they're cheating the system. I'm not saying they don't have somebody in their
Mhm.
group that does need the DAS pass. I'm not saying
Right.
that at all because I know
Right.
there's a lot of legitimacy out there. And if you're somebody who needs the DAS pass for whatever condition you're going on, and you can take 5 of your
Mhm.
friends, why wouldn't you do it? Absolutely, I
Well,
think that's
yeah,
great.
sure.
But they're going to come stem down on some of that. And there's a whole discussion to be had
Well,
about why they're changing and that
right.
versus Genie
And
Plus,
they
and
said
that's for another
but
day.
I think it's also important to know that it's for immediate family. It's for or immediate family. So if you are
Yes,
a
yes.
family of 5,
Right.
that's
It's
you know,
your family of 5 will get
you're
immediate
okay.
family, correct. But
Yeah.
if it's just you and some friends, it will be yourself and
Mhm.
3 other people.
Right. Right.
What will be covered, that again is going to be a Disney's decision. They have mentioned cognitive disabilities initially, and they said or similar, which I think they may have changed that on the website during that day because there like
I
the
think
wording
they
changed
did.
during the day because there was a lot of blowback right off. But then now it
There
says
was.
or similar, whatever. So again, May 20th, that's when we'll know,
For
and
sure.
after is
Because
when we'll
once it's
know.
in
Yeah.
I mean, we'll know some things leading up. But
Right,
right.
right. So, anyway, just want to bring all that up. So, you listened to a couple weeks ago, going into this, you know that we have acknowledged the fact that they are making some
Right.
changes, and we'll get to that. We'll probably have an episode later on in the month or in June about it. But yeah, let's talk first of all a little bit of news. We're not going to have to. We don't have a ton of news, but I do want to mention this, Jen.
Mhm.
Disneyland Forward. Do you know what this
Yes.
is?
I mean, I have heard of it. I do believe it has to do with their expansion and what they
Hmm.
are wanting to do. But tell us more.
Yes. Well, Disney is basically donating a couple of cool $1 billion towards expansion at
Cool,
Disneyland. And you
cool.
might think to yourself, David Dollar, there was nowhere for them to go because I think Universal
I mean, I
immediately
would
because
feel
they had
that
to go
too. Yeah.
down the street and build a park. No, according to the drawings, the artist renderings, which is surprising, not a lot of people have talked about this. Like Disney is literally talking about building an entire, basically like half a park at Disneyland, new lands and new rides and like Avatar and everything. And not a lot of people are talking about it because I think people are like, well, we'll see what happens. But according to what they've drawn, this is going to take place around the hotels, like around Pixar Pier and around
Really?
Disneyland. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take place in that area. I'm not saying you could walk out of Disneyland Hotel and go straight on the teacups, but
No, I'm sure not.
in that area, there's going to be apparently an Avatar land. We know is coming somewhere over
Yes,
there.
we have that.
I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors that maybe Arendelle is coming, which will be great for Southern California.
Oh,
That's Frozen World. That Zootopia is coming because I know they want to do Zootopia. A lot of the Hong Kong things they put in place, they're maybe bringing it over here, maybe expanding some other lands as well. But they're doing a $2 billion expansion at Disneyland. And the reason we know this is for sure is because last night, this is a Wednesday we're recording, so 24 hours ago on Tuesday, Anaheim City Council voted 7-0 to approve this plan going forward. I'm not going to read you the verbiage from the actual proposal itself, but it's a big chunk that basically says, "Hey, we're Disneyland. We're going to put some money into this, and we're going to expand. We're opening up some new stuff."
But why would Anaheim say no? I mean, that's just
right, exactly.
more guaranteed tourists.
This is the first vote. There has one more vote to go. May 10th, I believe, is the next vote. Once it clears that vote, which surprisingly I think it will, once it clears that vote, they'll have basically in 30 days it will take effect. So Disney has to wait 30 days, and then they can begin. They can start. And I'm sure they're doing a lot of behind the scenes work, legally stuff, and testing and blah blah blah.
The things that they would have to know to get it
exactly
going.
the things they have to do. And folks, we're not going to see this happen until like 2026, 2027. So we're talking several years down the road. How this impacts the hotels, I have no idea. I don't know. They're not going to close the hotels. That I can promise you.
No.
That I can promise you for sure. So if you're thinking, I don't know if I want to go to the Disneyland Hotel and have construction around me, then just go. It's okay. You're going to be at Disneyland. It's awesome. Trust me. You're great. But we will wait to see what's going to unfold. I think this will be a big part of D23 and some of their plans. Because as we know, Disneyland gets all the good stuff. They get all the great stuff, all the popcorn buckets. They have a light up Peter Pan clock tower popcorn bucket, which is awesome. No, I'm sorry. That's actually Hong Kong Disneyland. That's overseas.
That's in Hong Kong.
That's
a
Hong Kong Disneyland. Yeah, Disneyland gets the Stormtrooper bucket and the Jabba the Hutt talking bucket or whatever, and we have Ratatouille wrap on a bus, which is awesome. So yay us. They get all the good stuff. It's just embarrassing. Anyway, so keep an ear up for the Disneyland Forward expansion. You can actually go to DisneylandForward.com, and it kind of tells you a little bit about it. Not much. It's really more of a here's the city council, the breakdowns, here's the dates you'd be looking for, that kind of thing. So it's almost like a page for the Anaheim and Southern California residents. Hey, you want to know what we're doing with your land? This is what we're doing. Come check it out or whatever for people who are concerned. So that's coming up. So let's jump over here to some cruise liners here.
All right.
Royal Caribbean. I have never been on a Royal Caribbean until this past weekend. Jen, how many Royal Caribbean trips have you taken?
I want to say like 6.
Nice.
I think 6.
Nice. And have you done one in every class? Because I think that is now kind of my goal, is to do one at least in every class if possible.
Not the Radiant, and I don't know if it's Radiance class. The smallest class I have not done. I have done the ones, I have done Navigator, Sovereign. I've done now Freedom twice, and that's the Freedom class.
Nice.
That's the only Freedom class ship I've done. And then I've done Odyssey, which is in Quantum class, Symphony, which is an Oasis class.
Right.
I was on Harmony briefly. I didn't sail it, but I was on it for the naming ceremony. I have done Odyssey, I think, is Quantum class. I have not done Icon class.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
I will be.
Let's run through these real quick, and I'm not going to give you descriptions of every ship because that'd be too much. But the lowest class, the smallest class, and still it's a big ship. The Vision class. Now, this is your Grandeur of the Sea, which was the first Royal Caribbean ship, 1996. The Rhapsody, the Enchantment, and the Vision of the Sea. All of these were innovated somewhere around 2012, 2013. Little footnote here, Grandeur was actually going to be transferred to Pullmantur Cruises in 2021, but Pullmantur filed for bankruptcy, so Royal Caribbean just kept it. And so, so they have, this is the smallest one. Grandeur of the Sea has the smallest population, which can hold 1,992, so just under 2,000 people. So keep that number in mind. Voyager class. Voyager class is the Voyager, the Explorer, the Adventure, the Navigator, and the Mariner of the Seas. And a lot of these were renovated in 2016, 2017. The Explorer is actually going to go down for renovation pretty soon. These were all built in 99, 2000, 2001, somewhere right in there. They were the largest class of ships in the world when they were constructed, and they were the first ships to have an ice rink at sea, and the first to have Royal Caribbean's Royal Promenade concept, which we'll talk about that I got a lot of good things to say about that. So
Yeah.
there's that. The next is the Radiance class. The Radiance, the Brilliance, the Serenade, and the
I've not been
Jewel
on
of
that
this.
one.
2001, 2002, 3, 4, one ship every year, all renovated about 10 years ago. So these hold about 2,100 people. So we're about 200 people more than the low class there. They have environmentally friendlier gas turbine engines and over 3 acres of glass exterior viewings, and 700 balcony staterooms. And next class up, the Freedom class. Now we were on the Freedom of the Seas.
Yep.
Now remember the Grandeur had about 1,900. The class we just talked about had 2,100. The Freedom has 3,782, so just under 3,800 people. The Freedom, the Liberty, and the Independence. These are basically like longer versions of some of the ships we've already talked about. The Royal Promenade ran to the ship. Some of these have an ice skating rink. There was not an ice skating rink on our ship. Well,
Yeah,
no, there was.
Yeah, Ben and Katie went ice skating.
That's right. Basketball court, pools, mini golf course, rock wall. Flow Rider was introduced here. The H2O Kids Zone, Water Kids play area, the boxing ring, hot tubs, all over those. So those are all there. The Oasis class. These are the largest ships ever built at the time. This is the Oasis, the Allure, the Harmony, the Symphony, and the Wonder of the Seas. And your lowest in this class is Allure of the Sea, which only holds 5,400 people.
Yeah, only
5,400 people. It's a little insane, right? So that's of course double occupancy. They have a maximum capacity of 6,300 passengers, which is just crazy. And then we have the Quantum class. Quantum of the Sea, the Anthem of the Sea, the Ovation of the Sea, the Spectrum, and the Odyssey of the Sea. These started in 2014 and every year up until about 2021. Again, these are the ones that hold 5,000, so similar people to the ones we just talked about. These are the second largest class ships in the world. They were built for Royal Caribbean, and they share indoor pools, retractable roofs. They have the outdoor seating in the Windjammer buffet. We got some of that. Self-leveling pool tables. That's kind of a fun thing to say. The iFly Ripcord skydiving simulator, which I would love to do.
Yes.
A 3-deck high, 270-degree lounge. So there's that. Roller skating, bumper cars.
I did the skydiving.
That's incredible. I would love to do that. Now, of course, we're talking about the Icon class. Now, the Icon of the Seas is the largest ship ever built. It is friggin' massive.
It is ginormous.
It holds around 5,600 double occupancy, 7,600 passengers. Maximum came out in November 2023. Now coming up here in the future fleet of this Icon class, the Utopia of the Seas. Actually, it says it's listed here. That's going to be under the Oasis class, which is interesting. So
I'm sorry.
Oasis.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Utopia is Oasis class because they did like 7 or something Oasis class ships, and then the Star of the Seas, I think, is the second Icon class.
And then they have a ship coming out in 2026 and 2028, which one's going to be Icon, one's going to be Oasis. So they're filling up those as well. So the ships that are no longer in service: the Song of Norway, the Nordic Prince, the Sun Viking, the Song of America. This long list here. Of the Seas, Sovereign, Monarch, Splendor, Legend, Empress, and Majesty of the Seas. Those are old boats. They've either been decommissioned or they were sold to other places and stuff. So that's kind of your rundown of Royal Caribbean. I expect there's gonna be a test for all of you out there, including you, Jen. But no, there's a large. I mean, we're used to Disney.
Yeah.
I'm used to Disney. I'm like, I got the Wish, I got the Wonder, I got the Magic, I got the Dream, I got the Treasure coming up, I got the Fantasy, and then of course the Adventures overseas, and the new one coming up. The next 2 coming up will be like the Celebration and the Inspiration. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, we're not. That's not rumors. We don't really.
Yeah, we don't know that. I'll probably will guess that much closer to the time because Treasure. Adventure kind of threw me off because that's the one over in Asia that I did call, but Treasure kind of threw everybody off. Like, Treasure, okay, whatever. So let's talk about the Freedom of the Seas. Again, this was my first experience on a Royal Caribbean ship. I had gone on a Princess ship last September. I went on a Disney cruise last March. It's really hard to compare the three ships and the 3 experiences. It's almost like, okay, you went to Disney World. Which park do you like best? It depends on what you're looking for as to which park you're gonna like best. I mean, what's going on? What do you want? Universal? You want Disney? Well, let's talk about you first and figure out what you're gonna like. Freedom of the Seas. We had a balcony room cabin, which the balconies are fairly small, but we, my wife Stephanie and I, you and Brady, and then of course Kyla, her husband Frank, and then 2 of our other agents and their spouses all had balconies that were all lined up. So we just moved the doors. We had one long balcony, which was
we had the room storage just open up, so it was great.
Exactly, we had plenty of room there. So I will give you my first impressions of the ship itself. I thought it was a beautiful ship. It's a great ship. 3-day cruise is not I don't want to say it's not enough time to explore the ship. I felt like I saw everything on the ship that I could see. Maybe I didn't experience everything on the ship, but I did see a lot. And there are probably a few things that I'm seeing pictures of from our agents posting. I'm like, oh, I missed that. How did I miss that?
Yeah.
But I saw the flow ride in action. I did the water slide. I saw the rock climbing wall. I saw the kids areas and the play zones. I saw all the shows. Heard the comedian. And so I did a lot of that, right? And getting to the room itself, the room is a little small. Two things really
I will say every cruise ship room is a little
and I get that, but
small.
I say that last year. I feel like my wish cabin was not. It was small, but it wasn't small. I mean, it was
Disney.
roomy to me.
Disney's the exception. Disney has nice large rooms.
My princess room last year, Stephanie and I had the princess cabin and balcony cabin. It felt about the same size. Of course, the princess, I think the princess rooms are a little dated. You walk in there, there's a lot of brown going on in there, and you're like, okay, a little brown going on. Real creamy was fine. Two things I had, and we talked about this earlier, and you have a contention for one of these. Number one, there are 2 plugs in this room. There are 2 plugs in this room. That's it. That's all. There are 2 plugs. And I'm like, that's not a lot. Now, you think to yourself, well, hey, David, I'll just bring the extension cord. Just bring a surge suppressor. Well, nay, let me say this. That when we were coming off the ship, we were catching an Uber to our train station ride, which I'll talk about in a minute. There was a table of confiscated goods that you could go over and pick up. Steamers, hair dryers, irons, surge suppressors, and power strips. So if you were to bring one on thinking, you know what, I heard on that Main Street Electrical podcast, my favorite podcast, I heard them say there are only 2 plugs in that room. Well, guess what? I'm going to bring me a 6-plug little thing. They very well may take it. Now, whether you get it back for sure, I don't know. They had them on the table, so I'm like,
oh no, they give it back. They give it back.
But you have 2 plugs to work with. Now, we were lucky. We have my wife does diffusers, and she also needs something to basically rinse her nose out and everything. So she asked for an extension cord. They brought her an extension cord, which really was just plugging in, and then we had it was a plug across the room, so that helped. 2 plugs, and
I will tell you.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say it.
No, I say this is and it's not a contention because the lack of plugs is a pain and it's annoying. However, remember when it was built? You just said it was 2006.
Yes.
I know it's hard for us to remember. First of all, on cruise ships, people were putting their phones in their safes because that's what we did. We would just shut off our phone because no one wanted international charges
in your safe.
Yeah, because it wasn't your camera, it wasn't your everything. There was no Wi-Fi. You weren't doing any of that.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. Now,
but this ship was renovated in 2020.
It was, but to redo the electrical, that's not a dry dock situation. That is a gut the ship situation, which you're not. I
don't know how ships operate in terms of electricity. I don't know how hard it would be to put in the same place, put in a plug that has like
it would
4
be hard.
plugs or USB cord or something like that.
See, now, so I would say that if you are planning to sail an older class, and keep in mind, a lot of these older ships are now doing the 3 and 4s, or they're doing the killer itineraries because, like it's one of the two.
Right.
You need to bring and I have a block. Like one of those, it plugs in and you got like 4 USB little outlets.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And I just always leave that on my bag because honestly, a couple of the Disney rooms don't always have it.
What Royal could do, honestly, is I think they could either rent or sell these on their ship and say, you know what, or rent them on the ship and say, these are ship compatible. Yep. These are ones we deem safe. Rent them from us. Don't bring your own because we'll take it. Rent them from us for $10 for $5 a night, $10
or just put one in the room.
I would have paid the $30 for the weekend to have plugs around the room versus that one plug. It was because we were kind of plugging in chargers, we were plugging in phones, whatever, and God forbid I didn't have my phone by the bed. I had it across the room, and I'm like, "What is this madness? What is this madness?" Because my wife deems where she sleeps first because the way the air comes in, she allergies are terrible. So she's like, "I'm gonna sleep on this side because the fan's going over there, whatever." So there is that. That's one. 2, the showers.
Oh,
the showers are like capsules. And when I say capsules, they are circles. You go in there and it really feels like you just cross your arms and cross your legs. The bottom's going to drop out. You're going down a water slide. That's what it feels like. Or you're about to get beamed up on a Star Trek episode and hopefully you're wearing a red shirt because otherwise you're not coming back. It's like,
again, so specifying small. Older class ships. This is an older class ship.
You're right about that because I looked at the bathrooms on the Icon and they're very spacious. I mean, for a cruise ship,
I was on the Odyssey and it's still not huge. I mean, no cruise
and again, I keep going back to the Disney Wish. Comfortable shower. I had room. Here, I wanted to somehow attach the soap to the wall and just move around the wall to get soapy because it's hard to maneuver in there. And to dry off on the shower, you got to open the door. And it's like this, the door's kind of open, like you just put your fingers in the middle and just spread your fingers and the door's open. It's just, Other than that, it was great. I mean, it was a small room,
Yeah.
obviously. They put a lot
No,
of
the
people in
newer
the ships,
ships
but
are a lot easier or a
Mhm.
lot better with showers. I
Right.
will say that too, for sure.
So we got there. We all arrived at various times. Of course, and running through my little adventure, my wife and I, were scheduled to arrive in Fort Lauderdale at 10 p.m. We were flying
Mhm.
down, and we're gonna get there at 10
Oh,
p.m. And we were
yeah.
already thinking how hard it was gonna be because we get there at 10 p.m. Don't get to our hotel till 11. We got to get up the next morning. We were meeting our wonderful agent Susan, our wonderful agent Casey, and our wonderful agent Jamie. We were all gonna ride together
Yep.
to the port from Fort Lauderdale, that hotel. And Stephanie had already talked to Susan, and they had all worked out. So we were going to fly to Fort Lauderdale, spend the night. Just again, lamenting the fact we're not getting there till
Mhm.
10, probably not even getting to bed till like midnight. Ugh, it's gonna be so late,
Right.
right?
Right.
So the weather has rolled in on Thursday, and all we keep hearing is that our flights are being delayed and canceled, delayed and canceled, delayed and canceled. So what are we going to do? Because we're like, okay, we could fly out in the morning. We talked to Southwest.
Right.
We could fly out in the morning. We could fly out on Friday morning, which
Mhm.
we're leaving on Friday, right?
Yeah.
There's a Fort Lauderdale flight that arrives at 10. We would catch a shuttle from there to directly to the port. I've got early boarding time, so I don't know when I'm going to get there. I have no idea. But this is rule number one, and Jen will tell you this. I will tell you this. Never, ever, 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 ever get there the morning the cruise leaves.
Never. Don't do
You
it.
got to
Well,
give yourself some time. Do what
which
you
is
need to
why
do.
you went out the night before.
Right, went out the night
Because
before.
you could have
Exactly.
gone out that morning if you'd had to.
Exactly. So we were already thinking, you know what? I guess this is what we're going to have to do. And then suddenly the flight we were going to take suddenly becomes available again, but it's been pushed back a few hours. So now we're like, okay, we fly at 6 p.m. We get to Baltimore, and then we have a couple hours delay, and then we get
Mhm.
then we leave Baltimore, get to Fort Lauderdale, and I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. Look at a map. I should be in Fort Lauderdale in 2 hours versus up to Baltimore, down to Fort Lauderdale, whatever, right?
Right.
So we're going to get to Fort Lauderdale like I don't know, 1 in the morning. Ugh, okay, fine, just whatever. Or we fly to Orlando, stay the night, fly out the next morning, which probably was safe, but we didn't know. So we chose to do the Baltimore route. It already said we were going to take us to Chicago, then to Baltimore. At one point in time, it had Steph and I on 2 different flights, which
Oh
was
my
kind of
gosh.
crazy. I was like, I'll race
Oh
you,
my
see what happens.
gosh.
So we get the flight, and
Mm.
the winds are insane. I understand why they had to move things around because when we hit Baltimore, we were coming in hot. That flame was moving. It was shaking back and forth, whatever. And I really felt like
Wow.
at one point in time, I went from left to right about 6 inches in the plane, just how crazy it was.
Wow.
So we landed, we get to Baltimore. It's now 9 o'clock. Our flight is leaving at 12:15. We're like, it's going to arrive in Fort Lauderdale like 2:30 in the morning. Okay. So then we get closer to midnight and we're hearing our Southwest person. She's saying to us, folks, there is a chance that the crew may time out. The plane has just gotten here. We're going to get these people off as quick as possible to get you on as quick as possible because I've learned that and the crew has to get in the air because if they time out when they're on the ground, they're done.
Right.
They're done.
Right.
And what I told Steph was like, honey, if they time out when they're on the ground, we're here. We're in the airport till tomorrow morning, and then we got to figure out what to do. Catch a Baltimore Orioles game and fly home. Well, I don't even know if we're getting to the ship. I have no idea. So we're there and it's midnight.
Mhm.
Crew's worried about the crew timing out, and the plane's in, and then the stewardess or the flight whatever the flight person the gate
Flight
agent. That's
attendant.
what I'm saying.
Oh,
Gate
the
agent.
gate attendant.
Gate agent. So she comes on. She says, "Good news, folks. I think we're gonna be okay on the flight. However, someone has thrown up on the plane, getting off the plane, so we have to send maintenance in to clean it." And we're all just like, everybody's groaning. And she said, and the speaker, "Hey, don't blame me. I have to be the one to go clean it up. So I'm gonna go do that now. I'm gonna clean it up." And everybody's like, "Thank you." And she's like, "You're welcome." So she goes to clean it up. We get on the flight about 12:30. It leaves, and I'm chronicling this all in my stories. We basically are on the airplane on the tarmac about 12:25, and I'm telling
Mhm.
my wife, my lovely wife, I'm like, "Don't celebrate yet till we're in the air. There's
Right.
always a chance this plane stops and turns around. I don't know why, but whatever." We get in the air. We get there to Fort Lauderdale. It's after 3. We get to our hotel at 4. You ladies have a bedtime routine. Apparently, I was asleep in 4 minutes. She was asleep in an hour. She didn't get to bed till
That's all right.
5. We were both up at 8. It was a long day.
It's
It
a
was a
long
long
day.
night. Long night. So the
That's
lesson
a
again,
long night.
roll with punches. Get there before the cruise. All right. So we get on and we actually get to there, and they have boarding times. You sign up on the app of your boarding
Right.
time. But we were there early enough that the attendant was like, y'all just go on, keep going. So we just went right on through. We were on the ship by 11 o'clock. It was fantastic. We got to have lunch at Windjammer, which is the buffet, the main market area. We walked around the ship, took some pictures, saw some things, saw the golf course and
Mhm.
whatever. And then of course you guys arrived and everybody arrived. So Jen, you've been on the Freedom before. Give
I
me your
have.
impressions of the Freedom. I guess, well, I don't know if not comparing to other ships yet, but just your impression of the Freedom. Good ship,
Yeah.
bad ship? Yes, no? What do you like
I
about
actually love the layout of the Freedom.
it? Okay.
And when I was on her the first time, it was pretty close to when she was released, actually. She was like the
Okay.
newest, biggest ship. And I do love the layout. I
Mhm.
love the promenade. I just think it's easy to navigate and get around. So, and they really have a good, the theater's nice. And yeah, I just, again, I don't feel like it's overwhelmingly large,
Mhm.
but it's large enough that you have plenty to do. You're never bored. Because the first time I was on it, it was a longer cruise. I want to say it was a full week. So, and it was fine because I had plenty to do for that full week.
Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot to do on the ship. As we mentioned before on some of the ships, on this one there is ice skating and there is rock climbing and there
Yes.
is the flow rider, which is like
Mhm.
the it's not the wrapper, it's the surfing experience where they have the
Right.
water coming over the hill and you get to surf on the water. They've got the two water slides at the
Yep.
very end. They've got several pools for the adults. They've
Mhm.
got bars everywhere,
Oh
lounges
yeah.
everywhere. They've got shows, Broadway style shows. I don't
Oh,
want to
they
say
have
Broadway style shows. They
the
have great
sports.
shows at night.
Yeah,
Um,
and then they have that sports bar casino area,
Yes, they
which
have a full casino playmakers, I think,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
Casino Royale was the name of it. And then
Yeah,
of course they
Casino
have the
Royale.
promenade, and I loved this area.
Yeah.
For those of you
It's
who didn't
great.
fully know what a promenade was, and I didn't really know, I knew that Icon had like a Central Park kind of area, it's you walk in,
Which
the
is really
trees
cool.
and whatever, which is really cool. But the promenade is almost like you're walking through a mall. You walk through,
Mhm.
and it's covered, and the lights are on, and the floor is all fancy and stuff like that. And of course, you've got the stores on either side of you
Mhm.
and everything, and there's like
And
food, and there's a
bakeries,
bakery, there's ice cream shop,
pizza.
there's a jewelry store, there's a pizza place, there's a souvenir store and stuff, there's
Mhm.
luggage and clothes. It's just really, really cool. I actually
Yeah.
put a story up about that because they have great music playing. Here I am walking through it, singing Peter Cetera and Amy Grant's "Next Time I Fall," which was a lot of fun. And it's just the area it's a large area, but it's not so large that you
Yeah.
walk in and you feel overwhelmed. Like you can get from one side to the other in a minute. They have air elevators on both sides, and it was just a very cool central place. I think a lot of our time as a group was spent in this area because there
Oh,
was so
yeah.
much to do here, a lot to do, a
And
lot
it
to
was an
see,
easy
and
place to
things.
hang out. Like
Yes, yep, very easy place to hang out. The pizza place served pizza till 3 in the morning in case you got a hankering for that. The as on I would say all of cruise ships, the
yeah.
shops and souvenir places are not open while you're in port.
No.
They only open once you hit sail, once you set
Mhm.
sail. And so, at nighttime when we were set sail, it was
Yeah.
fantastic. So loved that area as well. We
Yes.
saw the shows. There was an ice skating show, which a little odd, but it was fun. There was a musical show that was kind of musical, but called Once Upon a Time, which is based
Mhm.
on different fairy tales, which is
Very different
great.
fairy tales, yeah.
They had a comedian named Landry who was a lot of fun on there. It was a clean comedian, had a few jokes that were kind of over the heads of kids. It was almost like
Okay.
Frozen. It was almost like the Frozen
Sing along, the
show
Frozen
and
sing along.
Frozen sing along,
Yeah.
where a few of the jokes are like, "Oh, he said that, didn't he? How about that?" And the kids are like, "What? Nothing here. No, when you're older." So there is some of that.
Nothing.
So yeah, you get some of that. But yeah, I loved that. So Jen, anything else on the ship that you really just really enjoyed on the Freedom?
I mean, I just enjoyed spending time with everybody, and I think that
Mhm.
that's the best
And
part of
Kyla.
any cruise is yeah,
Yeah.
and Kyla. If there are, is just spending time in a
Mhm.
fun location with people that you really like. So,
Yes.
I love the solarium area as well because it's
Yes.
a little bit more adult centric, which on the newer ships, I will say, like on Quantum class, I don't know that Icon class has it. And Oasis class, it is adults only. So it's just a little bit of a quieter area outside of the main pool, but plenty of chairs and loungers
Right.
and things like that. So
Right.
yeah, I
And
really like that.
it was fun because Sunday the ship docked at Nassau, and
Yes.
shout out to our friend John Rogers and our Imagineers podcasting friend Matt Appleby, who were both in Nassau, and we didn't know that
Yes.
until after they left. And it was a lot of they saw my pictures, I saw their pictures, you were there, kind of thing. It
Yeah.
happens, right?
They're not on our ship.
No,
They were on
they
one of
were
the
because
other 4 ships
when we
parked.
docked, we had the Celebrity Summit, and there was the
Mhm.
MSC, the Magnifica, and
Magnifica.
then the Carnival Sunrise and the Carnival Freedom, like
Yep.
all lined up in a row. Now all next to
All
us.
3 in a row.
Carnival Freedom, of course, missing its wings on the top there, apparently from a
Yeah.
fire, because
Uh,
Carnival's crazy. But we were on the Royal Caribbean and on the Freedom, so it was a lot of fun there. Solarium was great because on that day we kind of found a spot up in the corner and just kind of put our stuff down, and that was kind of our spot for
Yeah.
pretty much half the day. Like we were all coming and going. Some people were there reading, while other people would go get a drink or go do something. I think Stephanie was there for a lot, but then she came down with our agent Casey to
Yeah.
do Friends trivia, and then she was like, "Well, I have to go back to Solarium. My stuff's up there. That's where Katie and that's where so and so were." And so
Right.
which is a great meeting place for everything. The first day we docked though was perfect day at CocoCay. Now, I am somebody who was very fascinated by this because you see the commercials, you see the perfect day, and there's the balloon, and there's the person zip lining, and there's the water park and the beaches, and you're like, oh, this is a picture perfect looking place. Was it your first time at CocoCay?
No,
Had you stopped before?
I
Okay.
have been before. Yeah.
Give me your impressions of CocoCay, because you are somewhat of a beach person. I think you like maybe pools and bars better, but you are somewhat of a beach person. Are you?
I'm not a huge beach I mean,
I say
I
somewhat,
enjoy a beach, but I'm not like getting in the sand. I'm not getting in the ocean too much.
Right.
But I enjoy a beach day. I just don't want to be there for like a long stretch. So CocoCay is great for me.
I'm the same way with when I'm with people that I enjoy being around. I don't mind the beach. I would never just plan a trip for the family to the beach.
No, I'm not planning a trip to the beach.
Stephanie
just to
doesn't
plan
care
it,
either,
so.
and Campbell's whatever on the beach.
Yeah, I want there to
a lot
be
of sand.
other things to do.
So go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I enjoy. What I like about it is, although yes, we did the Hideaway Beach, which was an adult only section, which is brand new, just opened in January, which by the way was amazing. It was beautiful. I loved the setup. I loved the food. It was all good. I like the CocoCay. You really don't technically have to do anything. There are plenty of pools, plenty of loungers, plenty of everything lying around. Just like around for you to do. Plenty of activities. Now, there is a thrill water park, which kids love. People love that thrill water park. We all know I am not a water park person. That is not going to be me. So I did not go. However, people have a blast at it. Buy the tickets early. Now there's the Hideaway Beach section. I will always do that at CocoCay from now on, like forever and ever. Amen. I'm gonna go to the Hideaway.
Yes, yeah, I loved CocoCay because you have all the beaches and everything too. And you're right, Hideaway Beach. Now, let's just say this with Royal Caribbean, and we'll get to some of the pricing in a minute. But Royal Caribbean is a great price for the basic cabin, and then you can add on as much as you want as you go. Now, you're right, there are a lot of free beaches in the CocoCay area, but there are some like Hideaway Beach was an extra charge for if you wanted to get away, just go to Hideaway Beach. It's worth it. It was, I think. Again, we'll get the pricing in a minute. I think it was worth it. There was chairs for everybody. There was space for everybody. They had cabanas. They had infinity pool cabanas. The food was fantastic. You would imagine that like food being served on a little hideaway bungalow, coconut shrimp and hot dogs and whatever would be like just okay. It's on an island. The coconut shrimp was absolutely delicious, and I had.
Oh, it was fantastic.
It was so
fantastic.
Good. It was arguably the best meal that I had in on my Royal Caribbean trip. It was just so
it was
good.
so good.
I was like, I have to eat more of the shrimp. I'm even hungry and I want to keep eating more. I had a hot dog later on that day. I had half a burger. I had fry. I mean, I just kept eating and just munching and everything. Later on that day, I actually went and took a tour of the entire beach. There's the cove. There's the cove. There's South Beach. There's Chill Island. A lot of the harbor. A lot of these are free. I mean, and they also have the largest inland island pool in the Caribbean, which is a huge pool area for the kids. They have splash pads and stuff for the kids. So you're right. There's a lot to do that is free. There are things to do that will cost you money. The water park is a little pricey.
Yeah.
So there is that. The zip line will cost you a little bit of money as well. And it doesn't run the length of the island because it's a zip line.
No,
it runs basically over the harbor pool. A little shorter than I wanted. I am personally glad I didn't pay for that and then see that small zip line. I'm like, I think that's not worth the money you're paying for it. And I'm not going to give you prices because those prices do fluctuate.
And they change. And even on the Thrill Water Park, those prices change.
Yes, and there are promotions happening all the time.
All the time.
So you get the app and you just keep checking. Go ahead and purchase on a good rate. If you see one even better, cancel your order and repurchase.
And redo
a lot of our agents did that.
Some of us did it like 2 and 3 times.
Yeah.
Because one person would be like, hey, it's cheaper.
Yep.
Everyone's like, okay.
So CocoCay was definitely a success. I walked the island. I pretty much put about 10,000 steps on my phone as I walked around, got pictures, and you'll see some of that. I'm going to have a highlight up this weekend of CocoCay, so you can go see I did all the beaches and all the places. You can see all of it, right? Staff very friendly. They had trams running everywhere, so there's really great ways to get it all over the place. So that was great. CocoCay, Nassau. Again, we didn't really get off. I've been to Nassau before. Straw Market. I don't want to say it doesn't impress me because I know people make their living on this, and it has a lot of value because you can do a lot of things, a lot of clothing and trinkets and jewelry and native items and things like that. It's stuff that's not for me, but I would encourage you if you've never seen it, take a friend. I don't know that I'd go by myself, but take a friend
Yeah,
and just
right.
go enjoy the straw market for the day, for a couple of hours or whatever. Just enjoy that. Of course, then we had nighttime sailings. We had dinners and everything. I was not impressed with the food, and I know what you're gonna say. Well, that's cruise food, and I get that. I get it.
That
But I
actually
felt
wasn't what
like
I was going to say.
okay, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
Um, I think that cruise food since COVID, and I had a conversation with somebody about this.
Mhm.
Um, in general, in the main dining rooms, has become more like all-inclusive food,
Mhm.
where for the most
Yep.
part, it's fine. It's not great if you do the more elevated dining. So like I'm thinking of Jamie's Italian because that's the Oasis and Quantum Class ships. It was
Right.
Giovanni's and the
Giovanni's,
Freedom,
yes. Yep.
and like
And the
steakhouse.
Isuzu sushi bar
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah.
And so if you do the quote upgraded dining, it's like better. Like it's
Yes.
good food. And I will say that we ate at Playmakers the one time. We were just down, we walked through, we ran into Agent Eric.
Mhm.
And we all just sat there and chatted with him for a bit. We ordered wings, an onion ring tower, and like some nachos. The nachos were just okay, but everything else was actually really, really good.
I
So,
I I think you're right. I like how you made that distinction about the main dining room because every cruise has a central
mhm.
dining area that either you go to every night and they'll have different
Yep.
themes, or on Disney you will rotate dining areas.
Right.
It's one of those things where the way I can tell a good dessert is if I finish that dessert and I want another one, it's a good dessert. If
Mhm.
I finish the dessert or if I don't finish it and I'm like, it's okay, then maybe the dessert wasn't up to snuff. And there was nothing
Right.
on the cruise that I had this weekend that I was like, oh, I'd love to have another one of those. It was more of a, what did you have? Let me have a bite of that. Oh, that's pretty good too. All right. Well,
Yeah.
there was nothing that was terrible, but it was just okay
You
food,
don't go on Royal Caribbean for the food. There are
Right.
other cruise lines you might go, like I will say Virgin Voyages, you
Mhm.
would go on that for the food. The food was excellent. Disney has good food.
Disney's food was good. Princess was pretty good. I mean, we had some of their, and we did have some of the elevated dining on Princess and in Disney. We did not on
Mhm.
Royal, so that may have been the difference there. So,
Yeah.
I will say, folks, with your food, the mileage may vary.
Your
A couple
mileage
of
may
things.
vary.
A couple of things here before we just run forever on this episode.
Yeah.
We can the internet you can add on. You can decide what you want to
Yes.
do on that. It can be pricey. I think we paid $20 a day or
Mhm.
maybe 18 a day. There were some discounts on that. There's a drink package you can get that will allow you a certain number of drinks per day.
Mhm.
Again, look at the price because that also can get pricey unless if you're somebody who has like maybe one or two margaritas every now and then, this is not for you. If you're somebody who goes on vacation and enjoys having several during all throughout the day,
Mhm.
it is something to consider. We got the coffee card. Steph and I are
Yeah.
both coffee drinkers, and on that, over the course of 3 days, it gives you 15 specialty coffees. Now, it said on the thing, not included Starbucks is not included. I didn't know how many coffee shops there were on board. I think there may have
Mhm.
been more that would do it. But we found the one coffee shop in the promenade that would do it. They serve Starbucks coffee, even if they didn't have Starbucks on the
Right. It
headboard
wasn't a
there. It wasn't
Starbucks. It was
Starbucks.
just a
Exactly. What I come to find out was that every mark you get, every punch you get, is for a small coffee, hot drink. If you get an ice drink like I do, it's 2 marks. And even then, I wasn't able to finish it. I mean, like I probably
yeah.
needed to have 2 or 3 more. So I kind of wish we'd gotten one card for both of us. We paid
Mhm.
$30 each for the card. One thing we did enjoy, however, we had Evian water delivered to our room. It's the only water they
Oh
offer.
yeah.
1 liter bottles, 12 1 liter bottles for like $20, completely worth it. We had 2 bottles left. We couldn't drink it all. And
Yeah.
so, we're water drinkers and we were trying to chug waters all day. And so there are various, obviously other prices you can pay. There's also the soda package you can get. They give you a Royal Caribbean cup, which for me, I'm like, I don't want to carry the cup around all day, but hey, people loved, I saw cups everywhere.
Mhm.
People loved it.
Yeah. People loved it.
We did have dinner at Johnny Rockets, which was one
Yep.
cover charge. One thing I didn't understand was like, I got to be careful at what I order. I don't want to have a $50 bill. Apparently, it's $15 per
It's
person,
$15
and you can
total.
order whatever you want to the menu.
Yep.
Didn't know that. You didn't tell me that because you weren't sitting with me. So, Jen, I blame you for that. I would have gotten mushrooms on my burger, right? So overall, the offboarding process was fairly simple. We got off pretty fast. We went and had breakfast at Windjammers at the main. Oh no, I'm sorry, we had the main dining breakfast at the main
Mhm.
dining, which was
That's
very
good.
good, which was great because I heard Windjammers was kind of chaotic, was crazy. I heard it was nuts.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
it's a
On
buffet.
disembarkation day, it's always
Yeah, and so
crazy.
I would advise you maybe consider going and having a sit down meal if you can, if your time allows it. We had that and had a good time.
Yeah.
So all of that was great. So, Jen, any final thoughts on the Freedom?
I mean, it was a great time. I would say if you're looking for a short getaway, and we saw like a lot of bachelor and bachelorette parties. Someone said they
Hmm.
actually saw like a wedding, we
Yes.
saw, a couple family reunions. If you're just looking for a short getaway, something where the price is going to be right and pretty much everything's included, this is a
Yep.
great option. And when you, especially
Yes.
if you have a variety of ages, um, I do think that cruising in general, and in particular, like a short cruise like this, because like I said, the price is right. I
Hmm.
think it's a great option for you. And if you are somebody who maybe is a little bougier, I do love the newer class of ships. I
Yes.
will like the Oasis class, the Quantum class. I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to hitting up Icon. Well, I guess it's an Oasis class, Utopia. Coming up. Eventually I'll get on an Icon class ship, just not yet.
Right. 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 Right.
But that is definitely going to be your speed because it's all the things we talked about. Plus, you got more plugs. Plus,
Right.
you've got the nicer, newer bathrooms, the food in general. You have more food options.
Hmm.
Um, just There's just a lot more.
Yeah. So, CocoCay is fantastic.
Oh,
I think there's gonna
amazing.
be there's something
Amazing.
to do for everybody on that island. I think it's just amazing. Again, you can decide if you want to spend the money or not on doing the water park. There are 7 or 8 slides, so I think it's worth it if you want to spend the money. The last thing I will say is I did talk to a few people about their autism program. Royal Caribbean is a certified autism
They
ocean
are.
cruise, whatever, whatever. I'll be honest with you, I don't have an autistic child on the ship. I didn't bring my son, so I can't speak to that. But in talking to them, the main things I look for is number one, is there one-on-one help with the children? Like most cruises, they said no. They just don't have the staff for it, and they probably don't want to bear with the responsibility
Mm,
for it. I get that.
right.
Two, my child is 12 years old. He doesn't wander, but he does wander a little bit. Like he
Hmm.
will wander to the elevators, and once he's there for a few minutes, he'll be like, "Oh, what's over here?" So he doesn't purposely just walk away, but he might wander down the highway a little bit, down the hallway a little
Yeah.
bit until suddenly he's out of sight. They don't really have a lot of control over
Right.
that either. So for me, I'm like, well, Disney and Princess kind of had the same answers as well. Now, I thought the kids areas were great. There's an arcade down there as well.
Hmm.
They offer quiet spaces. They offer all kinds of sensory toys. They will help you. They will help with changing your kid. The young children and stuff. But a parent has to be present. So
Yeah.
I think it's worth investigating. Don't let a disability or a cognitive disability keep you from cruising.
Sure.
Do the homework or talk to your travel agent. Pick us, pick Jen, pick me,
Yeah.
and we will be happy to help you along with that as well.
Hmm.
So there are some of that. Real quick, our flight's actually right up Orlando. So we caught the Bright Line train station up to
Oh, yeah.
Orlando
Hmm.
from the Miami port. It was about $20, including tip, to get from the port to the Bright Line station.
Hmm.
Bright Line station is very open. It's a small station, very open. There's 3 tracks. The signage wasn't great. We didn't know until right before we boarded that they don't tell you what track you're going to be on until right before you board. So we're like, we don't know where to go. Finally, everybody gathered around the escalator. So there is some of that. I'm like, I wish Brightline would kind of help their communication a little bit, because when the
I
lady
will
did
say
come
that
on,
that's how it works in Europe too.
really, well, this ain't Europe, right? So I will say that when the lady did come on to do the announcement, she said simply, "All right, Brightline Station, come on if you want to come on out. We're going to Brightline Station. Check 3." And I think I heard 3 at the end. I'm like, I think we're on 3. Let's go to 3 and see what happens. And lo and behold, all the people were there. But the train was fantastic. When you reserve your seats, you pick your seats front, forward, or facing backward. They have plenty of room for luggage, whether it's full luggage or just carry ons. A lot of leg room at each seat. Each seat has USB ports and plugs in front of you and under you. Same thing with the train station. They do have somebody walking up and down offering snacks and stuff. If you wanted to pay a premium price, you could go into the lounge at the station and also get premium snacks.
Mhm.
I did not. I basically paid $3 for a 12-ounce bottle of water. Not even kidding. One of the actually maybe 8. One of the small bottles. The ride was comfortable. It was easy. It's funny because on a plane, if you get up, go to the bathroom, they're like, sit down, please. As soon as you're done, sit down. Trains, there was a woman walking up and down the middle with the baby in her arms. As the train was pulling into the station, people are standing up, getting their luggage, whatever. But I cannot recommend the Bright Line enough. It was fantastic. It came into the Terminal C at Orlando at MCO. You get off there, you take the new tram to the main terminal where everything is, where you're used to seeing everything. And just know you do have to go through TSA check there. So
Mhm.
security is right there once you come off that tram. But yeah, I thought Brightline was great. I highly
Yeah.
recommend it. Orlando, Miami, all the stops in between. So there we
Yeah.
go. Any final
It
thoughts
sounds good.
on any of that?
No, no, I think the bright line could be a great
Good.
option for people, honestly.
Hmm.
But yeah, good to know that that is now an option.
Yes. I'm your Brightline guy. I got you because I've
Yeah.
been on it. So I would do it again. So Jen, where can we find you on the vast worldwide interwebs?
You can find me at Upon a Star Jen and my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny. I posted a little bit on my stories
Hmm.
mainly. I need to just do like a encapsulation post.
Yes. Find me, of course, on Facebook at Magic on $1 and at Disney on $1. And of course, find me on Instagram at The Magic on $1. Definitely find me on Instagram because I have a lot of stuff going up about the cruise. And also, you can look up Disney Geek 27, which is our friend Kyla. She posted quite a bit from the cruise as well. And there were several of us that did a lot of posting from the cruises, but I felt like we were our friend Susan, our friend Casey, both did theirs as well. Susan and Pawn Star Casey, I believe, were their handles. A lot of cruise stuff, but you can find them through us if you need to. But yeah, you get all you need. And any questions you have about the Royal Caribbean or Disney or anything else, we're happy to help you. AponAStarTravel.com is where you go for all of that. Jen, this has been a fun little cruise around the podcasting world or something. So for Jen, I'm Dave, and don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.